You just completed a long journey out of college. Now it's time to get a job. But where do you begin? The questions begin to run through your mind. What type of job do I want? Can I really do the job that I really want to do? Am I qualified enough for it? The questions could go on and on. As a graduate out of college, you have to remember that the opportunities are endless. They're just out there waiting. Knowing how to properly be interviewed is a task that everyone needs to know in order to be successful in getting a job. The 3 phases in interviewing skills are the before, during, and after an interview. When I am completed here, everyone will know how to go about a type of interview and feel good when the interview is completed. There are 10 ways to have an interview: exploratory, information, panel, group, stress, behavior, telephone, second, meal, testing, performance, and cyber. However, today I will only be covering one, which is a panel of a face-to-face interview. The first aspect that I would like to talk about would be the before phase of an interview. There are 4 things you should know within an interview: knowing yourself or the employer, the appearance, timing, and anything that you should bring with you to an interview. When it comes to yourself, you need to know things like what your interests are, your skills, education, experience, the values of an organization that you have, the things that you have done. And then also know about the position that you are interviewing for. When it comes to the employer, know the type of business the company is engaging in. Like, for example, the working conditions. Do they work inside, outside? Is it hot? And so forth. You also need to know about the duties, the salary range of the position, the mission statements, the goals of the company. And then also you would need to know who is going to be interviewing you, especially if they call you over the phone and tell you to meet at so-and-so place at Goodyear at this building and then speak with so-and-so. You need to make sure you jot that down. The next thing would be appearance. Make sure that you are dressed for the job. For example, if you were going for a job at Goodyear, you wouldn't exactly wear, if you were going to be working out in the warehouse part of it, you wouldn't be wearing a business suit and high heels for women or black shoes. You would go in a nice shirt, maybe khakis, but I think jeans would go for a job like that, unless you were in the office applying for an office position. Therefore, you would go in a suit and proper attire there. However, make sure that it is pressed, there's no holes, lint, animal hair on it also. And make sure that your hair is well fixed. Women, make sure your makeup is properly done. And then make sure that you don't have gum in your mouth or anything else. Try to avoid, I know you can get nervous from an interview, but try to avoid smoking or anything that, would make the interviewee questionable, because sometimes in some places they are against smoking and things like that. And then the next thing would be timing. When it comes to being at an interview, you need to make sure that you're 15 to 20 minutes early. And do not bring other people with you. Some other things that you need to bring with you when it comes to an interview would be extra copies of your resume, transcripts if available, and have reference available, and also a pen and notepad, and then some money for lunch and parking just in case you're running late for something else, you need to stop and grab you a snack. The second aspect of interviewing skills would be the daring phase during an interview. There are 4 steps also within that. The first one would be start before walking in the room. By saying this is your interview starts when you're out in the waiting room or whatever. People peek around and watch what you're doing, so make sure that you are using your manners and waiting to be identified. And a good way to do this while you're waiting would be just to make little notes in your notebook and stuff, and then also once you are identified, they say, is Miss Kristi available? Da, da, da. Stand up, shake, and be the first person to shake hand. That gives a very good impression among them. And then also answer them properly. For example, hello, Miss Mangrum. I'm Kristi Wiersema. And during the whole entire time, make sure that you remain proper posture and have a smile on your face, even at times when you don't quite agree. Then when it comes to the middle of the interview, it's the question and answer phase. This usually takes 15 to 30 minutes, depending upon how you answer and how they like your answers. This is also a great opportunity for the employer to understand how you talk and how well you understand things. In the closing part of the interview, which only lasts a few minutes, there's usually a few signs that you notice whenever the interview is about to be over. For example, the person may start looking through their papers, making sure that they asked all the questions that they wanted to ask. And then also, whenever they will ask you, is there any questions you would like to ask? During this time, a good thing, if you're going to ask questions, is to make sure that your questions are developed and prepared. And then also, right before you leave the interview, stand up and shake hands again. That also gives them a good impression that you have manners and you respect people. Make sure to say thank you and I really enjoyed the interview and hope to be hearing from you. Then it comes to the final aspect of the interviewing phase, which is the after part. Just whenever you think walking out of the interview room, you're done. But really, you're not. A great way to give them another impression of you is to send them a thank you note, which is saying, thank you for allowing me to have the opportunity to be interviewed. You could do this through email, just sending a thank you card or a note, or even if you know them pretty well just from outside work, you could send them a business, stop by and see them. And then also there's a time. This is a good opportunity to reflect. It makes you look back and think, did I do good? What could I have done? What could I do in my next interview to step up the game and maybe help it out? So finally, this completes the interview skills by covering the 3 aspects, which are the before, during, and after an interview. Knowing how to properly interview is a task that everyone needs to know in order to get a successful job. Having interview skills takes practice, so don't give up if you don't get the first job that you really wanted. Just remember, there's always more opportunities out there. Thank you.